So yeah, actually, do you plan on doing like linguistics or literature? This not
I
not.
might do linguistics because I want to combine like social science with my study.
Mm,
Because I don't think I am able to handle like purely literature studies, as it really tests your like ability in that area. But I'm not really good at that, so I might not pursue it. But I still learn some literature courses as well.
mm. But so you talked about like in Fudan, like the many disciplines. You want to like meet all those like different charming professors. I suppose you're talking about like not only English, like
Yeah.
other
Of course.
disciplines
Yeah,
as well.
there are many like very excellent professors in like social science and also in I've met in Chinese, in history, and also philosophy and all that.
Do you do a double degree? No,
Oh, actually, we can't do a double degree in
you
Fudan.
can't do.
No, we can only have a minor, or we can just study courses in different majors, but we cannot do a double degree. I think it's canceled in all colleges in like mainland China. I'm not
Really?
sure. Yeah.
Because on
Oh, not in like all colleges. I'm being like
right in
I think
Fudan
at least in Fudan and some other schools. Yeah.
because Wang Shen told me I only knew like when I was chatting with her, I only found out that she double majors in like Chinese and English. So
Oh, because she is like 2 years older than me, so she might still have that policy at that time, but we don't have it now.
so because on average you study like 20 something credits. Like, do you ever have a semester where you have to do 30 or something crazy like that?
Oh no, like because I actually had a lot of credits during my freshman year, so I don't think I will still have that so many credits like in future years, because I have already studied many mandatory courses, so in my future time I can be more flexible with my schedule.
Right. I guess you did like almost 30 then. How many did you do in the past semesters?
Yeah, I did 30 and not 30, like almost 30.
Almost 30.
And I think it's much too tiring. Don't do it. Like students, don't do it. Believe me, you can't handle it actually.
But afterwards, do you get to, I guess, can you average on like around 20, like nearly 20?
Yeah, like it's definitely will be less than like it'll be about like 22, 23. I'm not sure. I haven't like selected my courses for next term. It's definitely not going to be so demanding.
Right. Hopefully you get to go back to school as well.
Yeah, I really hope so. Yeah, I think we'll manage that.
Because like for maybe online school is like tougher, and with like the semester ending early for all of you. I mean, for us exchange students, it doesn't really matter because we only do pass-fail grades. But then you guys, your grades actually count, and then
yeah,
yes, it must have been like really tough. So
yeah, and school is not only about courses, right? You need to get involved in that campus atmosphere to really feel yourself being part of like a college school student, not only like a learner.
Yeah, so really hope. I mean, I've got 1 year left. You've got 3. Hopefully we can get back to
hopefully, yeah,
campus,
really
face-to-face classes.
No more online classes.
Yeah. And talking about online like activities, like debate, we did it all online the past semester, be it classes.
It was really different.
Yeah. So in terms of like debate, we partnered up like that one time, and then you were continuously like sending me messages throughout the throughout the debate. I was sort of panicking.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm sorry about that.
yeah, and then I still remember this is genuine, right? All right, I'm telling you, this was like if you had a camera recording my reaction, I was genuinely like that. I was like, when you were giving your speech, I was like, I had my mouth opened, I was laughing. I just felt like
Oh, come on.
carried. Feel like really just you carrying me. So I wonder yeah, I guess could you maybe share something about your experience
Yeah,
or journey in debating?
sure. And firstly, I definitely think you are very like proficient in debating, and I think you are a great debater, right? Because and I know that you also have a lot of experience in public speaking, right? So I think your English is definitely more fluent than me, and you also have some pretty good arguments, and you really inspired me. So don't say I carried you. I'm actually just like I need to be very like I need to prepare a lot because it's definitely my course. Like I need to definitely to do good in that course, of course. And for my debating experience, it was actually a quite it was an experience I didn't expect it because during my primary school and my middle school, I was pretty shy and like introverted. So I don't like talking a lot. I definitely didn't start up like doing a debate because it's definitely hard for me to talk for a long time and like giving out arguments, and also to it's for me at that time it was like arguing, like quarreling with others. So I think it's pretty demanding for me. But at that time I have like peers, like because of peer pressure, like a lot of students around me were doing debating, and I think my mother think it might be a good experience for me to like get out of my comfort zone and to be more extroverted. Yeah, like my mother, like this kind of like Asian mothers,
Yeah,
so
bless her.
but I still like I'm grateful of my mother being pushing me all the time to do something out of my comfort zone. So I joined debating with a very good friend, and we partnered together to do a kind of format called public forum. So we actually get to debate for one motion for an entire term. So it's quite different because we had a lot of competitions in different areas, and you get to compete in different rounds. So but we still have the same motion. So like for if you do it like several months later, it will be a completely different because you have a lot more evidences and more arguments coming out. So you need to prepare a lot for that kind of debate.
Wow.
So I think it's better to debate in British Parliament because you don't need to prepare a lot. I think it's really panicking to prepare for a lot of evidence and for the debate. But still, I think it was a really good experience for me because at first I did not dare to speak out. Like it was really hard. It was a really hard time for me. I even cannot completely like say for fully like 5 minutes because I don't know what to say, and I cannot say like very fluently. But like because of these kind of experiences, we actually managed to like finish by third place in like a Shanghai Open competition. It was a really like a rewarding like experience for me because we was only like in grade 9 when we had to compete with some high school students, and it was like just my third debate tournament, and we managed to go that high level. But it might be due to my partner's like experiences, and also she was really good at collecting all kinds of evidence and doing a lot of research. But I think our like hard work pays off, and I get to enjoying this kind of experience. I think it's very like enjoyable to like exchange some arguments and like to debate with others. It really enhances my critical thinking skills, and also to think about different emotions in different perspectives, because sometimes you need to compete, like debate in the side that you don't actually like believe in, right? It's definitely very difficult.
Yeah, I remember that. I still
it's
remember
very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you still need to think of all kinds of warrants and arguments to support it. So in this way, you actually get to learn the mentality of those people who are against you, right? So I think still it's an interesting experience, right? And I really thank my partner and all those debate coaches who helped me all the way. And that's why I still want to continue to debate in colleges, like in British parliamentary format. But I think it's definitely also very demanding because you need to learn different kinds of subjects. You need to have some knowledge in laws, in economics, I believe. So yeah, it's definitely not easy to like do very good in this kind of format.
I guess it's demanding in a different way. Like you said, public forum, you get to prepare a lot. Or back then I was doing like 3v3, which according to some of you is called like Asian parliamentary.
Oh yeah, maybe. But I've also done it, but like my format was called World School Debate. I've done it once. But it's also 3 versus 3.
3 versus 3, and you also have like the first or second speaker do another speech at the end. Sort of like that we have.
Yeah, but I think our format was one person have a concluding speech at the end. It's
yeah,
like kind of same.
One person do, so yeah, sort of similar. But then in those formats, because I was really scared of like impromptus. Probably, I don't know if it's more
I
so
was also. I'm still a bit panicking about impromptu, but still I think it's quite interesting to do it because you never get to know what you meet.
Because back then I was like really panicking, and then like you talked about like 5 minutes. I still remember the first time I did like 7 minutes of BP and then got absolutely crushed. So it was like
it was very hard, definitely. And you need to be pretty structured and organized to do the speech. Like when I was first doing the speech, and I still cannot handle it actually. I still cannot do it in a very structured and a very clear way. Yeah, I think that's why you need to to practice a lot of time in order to be very like structured and fluent in your speech.
And with a very short amount of prep time. It's demanding in a different way because like with a lot of prep, well, you have to do a lot of it's hard work. It's hard work to prep that much, but also it is also hard in a different kind of way when you only have 15 minutes because you sort of get exposed, right? Like I do all the time in like these economics, politics.
Yeah, I need to search for like what the motion means in order to prepare something. So it seems to be impromptu, but actually you need to prepare like in your daily time to for that debate, right? It's definitely based on your knowledge, based on your previous knowledge.
It definitely exposes your weaknesses more so than prep debates.
Yeah. So I can only say that debate is my interest, but definitely not my strengths or like my hobby. It can only be my hobby. I just want to like learn from that, but I'm definitely not very good at that.
Right. I feel like I could definitely say the same thing, but then I feel like it's like it's like it doesn't matter. Like even in it's also luck. Like you should never let that 1-2 judges on the panel, they're just a regular human being, they could advise us or anything,
right
like determine your like everything.
So for the judge problem, not judge problem, for judge, I think it's still something that I had some frustrations back in my high school, because like for those tournaments, sometimes they need to hire some judges who are not very experienced in debating. They don't know how to judge a debate. They're only proficient in English, but they are not very proficient in debating. So sometimes they only say that like which side are more fluent in English or which side are more speaks louder and speaks better. They don't really examine the arguments that they present. So sometimes we lose, not because we're not prepared, but because we are not like speaking as seemingly as good as the other side. So I don't think like we need to care a lot about the results or about the judges adjust like judgment. I think it's definitely the experience that are more worthwhile, right? Because you cannot like actually control, like, because one or two judges definitely cannot like show mean or anything. People all have different perspectives and opinions.
But the more like throughout the semester, I did like doing debating at Fudan and like getting to, I don't think I've told you this, but like I joined like that Imperial College competition. I substituted for like, yeah, so I did one like from 4 p.m.
Who
to
did you
2
partner
a.m.
with?
I sort of forgot, but she was like from my public speaking. She was from my public. I joined this public speaking class, like for open to all students in Fudan. And then she's also in FETS, and then she reached out because like her partner couldn't make it. So I did the first night, and then but then I accepted to help her, and then I realized, oh dang it, like I'm actually really busy as well. And then I told her, and then I asked like Wang Shen did the second day, I think.
Oh, that's fine.
It was like, yeah.
How do you feel about this kind of international competition?
Like I told you, like I always use like the more debate, I feel like it's more about logic rather than compared with public speaking. I'm not saying like the speaking techniques don't work, and that's often like what I use to substitute for like to make up for the lack of not logic, but then the lack of like, you know, really structured and like, you know, with different layers of arguments, that sort of thing. I'm not really good at that thing. I'm not that sophisticated person like Jackson or Isaac or Caroline is, but then I'm trying to make up for it with my like speaking techniques. And then we just, you know, in the 4 rounds, like there was a round like the results were announced, but then in one of the rounds where I thought we were completely crushed and I just gave up, I was like while the debate was going on, I was just doing other things, you know, after the speech, and it ended up we were second. I had no idea how that happened. Really had no idea, but I just wanted it to end.
Debating is a very surprising experience.
Yeah, so that was a pretty good feeling.
Right? Yeah, still experience, right? It's a good experience.
Because I've never ranked higher than 3rd in like I mean, how many competitions have I did like in I mean, I've done like one like workshop and then one competition in Hong Kong. Those were the 2 experiences that made me like that was why I was afraid of debating. That was why I left sort of like in Form 4 afterwards. I never joined debating again. Like I made an excuse, like I was gonna go to tutorial classes. I was starting to study. I'm not doing any swimming training like anymore. But then it was an excuse to me. It was an excuse, like how much time could a debate take up? And like with the benefits that come along, you know, training or critical thinking and everything, like how bad could it be? But it was more like the fear. From then on, like I had that fear.
Yeah. For me, like I'm completely opposite, because I think for debate you still have a partner, who backs you up, right? So I still think it's good to prepare with another person, but for public speaking you get to like speak by yourself. You have no backup, you have no people who could actually support you. And for me, like impromptu, especially impromptu public speaking, is definitely more difficult than impromptu debating, right? Because
Really?
you need to know how you persuade your audience, right? You need to think about all those different like speaking techniques. But for debate, you only need to think of the arguments and you carry it out. Although it also like you actually also need to involve some public speaking skills in order to be more persuasive, right? But I still think like yeah, I don't know why, but maybe for me, I prefer debating.
In debating, like in these online competitions, people could have their cameras switched off.
Oh, but I don't think that's a good way.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
like even if you turn them on, like I mean, people don't exactly. You don't really have to look at people. I feel like you could just look at your notes, and that's why I feel like in debating, like the speaking techniques play less of a role, and it sort of makes sense.
True.
Like you win by logic, really, and the layers of arguments instead of like sounding like you can't really make up for it with your speaking techniques.
Yeah. You only listen sometimes.
Hey homies, I hope you enjoyed this clip. If you did, here's a full playlist of sharings from other top-notch people I've met. Like, comment, subscribe, 一键3连, and I will see you in the next one. Alright guys, peace.